Yo, it's your boy WesTheTech here to bring you another one of my personal favorite tech tips to help you as an artist grow in your craft. Now, today we're going to go over the best music distribution services for 2024, all right? So, if you're a recording artist who's looking into signing up for a music distribution service for the first time in 2024, or if you're an artist who already has a music distribution service and you're shopping for a better service, then this is the perfect video for you, because in this video, I'm going to give you my top 3 recommendations for the best music distribution services as of 2024, all right? Now, before I continue, I definitely want to let you guys know about my free music business checklist that's available on my website right now for free download, all right? This is for any one of you who's looking into starting your own music business this year, but you don't quite know where to start, all right? With this free tool, it'll actually show you 3 things that you could do right away to start your own music business. And all you got to do is actually click on the link above so you can download that, and I'll also leave the link in the descriptions below, all right? So when it comes to the best music distribution companies for 2024, I will be honest with you guys, a lot has changed, all right? New year means new prices, new changes, and all of those different things. By the way, happy New Year's to every last one of you guys. I'm so glad that you guys are still a part of the WesTheTech family, and I'm still glad that I'm here to help you guys with your music industry tips, all right? So getting into the best music distribution services, the first thing I want to do is kind of show you guys what the top 3 recommendations were for last year, all right? So as you can see by this chart, the top 3 services that were here last year was DistroKid, CD Baby, and TuneCore, right? Now, I will be completely honest with you guys. The only one of these 3 that actually made the cut for this year is actually DistroKid, all right? CD Baby and TuneCore are no longer the top recommendations for me, because I've learned a lot about both of those companies within last year, and they have also made some changes that has really put them in a place to not be top tier anymore, in my opinion, all right? When it comes to CD Baby, quite frankly, the price that they had per singles were $5, and the price that they had per albums were $10, all right? But they actually brought that price back to what it used to be, which is $10 per single, and I believe $30 per album. If you're an artist who releases a lot of music, if you release 5 songs, you already in the whole $50 of the year by just releasing 5 songs. So that alone, pricing alone, has dropped CD Baby off the list. Now, as far as TuneCore, there is a whole list of reasons why I don't even believe TuneCore, let alone being the top. I just don't think it's a good distribution service for anybody to be dealing with, all right? But for the sake of this video, I don't want to focus on that. I actually did make a video prior to this video explaining all the things that I realized about TuneCore that really makes TuneCore not a good fit for us as independent artists. If you want to know more about TuneCore, or if you already have TuneCore and you don't know about those things, definitely click on the link above, because I explained all of my thoughts on TuneCore in that video, because I got backstage access to it. I found out more information, and I really dived into the nitty-gritty of TuneCore, and I'm telling you, it won't make the list. It won't ever make my list again as far as the top recommended music distribution services, all right? So that essentially leaves us with 2 new recommendations, but of course, we have to start with DistroKid, because DistroKid is the only one that actually stayed on the list. And as I said last year, DistroKid, the reason that one I feel will always make the list, because it truly is Mr. Old Reliable, all right? But there are some changes that we do need to actually go over when it comes to DistroKid, all right? Now, if you're new to watching my video when it comes to, the most recommended music distribution services, I really only focus on the top 3 things. And the top 3 things are the same 3 things that every independent artist looks for when it comes to a music distribution company. The first thing is the most important thing, the pricing, obviously, all right? The second thing is how much of your royalties off of your music you actually get to keep. That is a very, very important thing. And of course, the third thing is YouTube content ID. This is a major factor, especially if you have your music on YouTube, this, that, and the third. Now, there are some people out there who believe that you shouldn't have YouTube content ID as part of your music. I'm not one of those. I don't believe in that myself. I believe it is smart to protect your music on YouTube, especially when you have all over streaming services. If people are using your music on YouTube for their videos, you should be getting paid for that, not them, because it is your music and they chose to use your music on their content. All right. So those are the three top things that I always grade these different distribution companies on, and I'm going to do the same thing for this video. All right. So going to DistroKid, when it comes to DistroKid, the biggest change to DistroKid is the pricing, unfortunately. All right. So with DistroKid has actually increased their price for the Musician Plus plan. All right. Now, for everybody watching this chart right now, I'm telling you right now, there's no point of getting the first plan. There's no point of getting the starter plan. It is just not a good plan, in my opinion. It's not a realistic plan, because with that plan, you can't even schedule your own release dates. You can't even customize your own prices on iTunes. You're very, very limited with all the different things that you could do with that. So when I'm recommending DistroKid, I am only talking about the Musician Plus or higher plan. Obviously, the highest plan is the label plan. If you don't know how to label, you won't need that anyway. So we're really talking about the Musicians Plus plan. All right. Now, with the Musician Plus plan, they have increased their rates. It went from $35.99 and now it is now $39.99. So I actually went up by $4, which still makes it very, very pricey, in comparison to a lot of the other music distribution companies out there. I think it is up there as far as subscriptions. It might be the most expensive right now because it is now priced at $40 for the year. But there's so many things that you get with DistroKid that it's just one of those things that I can never see myself taking it off the list, because regardless of the price, there's a lot of stuff that the other distribution companies don't have that DistroKid does, and there's a lot of back-end stuff and not paying stuff and a lot of issues that other distribution company has that DistroKid doesn't have. So regardless of the price being at $39.99, it still is going to always make my list unless I really find three music distribution companies that is better than DistroKid. And for this year, I haven't really found that yet. All right. So that is the price. Now, as far as the royalties, we all know DistroKid is still on point with that. You keep 100% of your royalties when it comes to DistroKid. And lastly, the YouTube content ID. We know that DistroKid, you actually have to pay the most when it comes to the YouTube content ID with DistroKid, because you have to pay $5 per single. Then you also have to pay the $10 or $20 for the albums. All right. And on top of that, you actually have to pay 20% of the revenue, or they will keep 20% of the revenue, meaning that you will only get 80% of the YouTube content ID. So DistroKid takes the L when it comes to the YouTube content ID for sure. All right. DistroKid obviously takes the L when it comes to the subscription price. But like I said, there is a lot of things that you see in other distribution companies when it comes to the issues that they have that you don't get with DistroKid. So even though DistroKid may be a little bit pricier than everything else, it still deserves to be on the list. And I think the reason they raise their prices is because they know what they offer. They know that they don't have the same issues that other distribution companies have. And they know they're going to give you exactly what you are asking for. DistroKid is still on the top of the list as far as the perks and all of those things as well. Everything it can connect to. So for me, even though it's pricey, it still is worth every penny because of all the things that they give you access to. All right. So that's the first one. That's the one that's staying on the list. Now we're going to go over the next two. And these are two brand new entries. All right. These two has really stepped it up when it comes to what they offer when it comes to a music distribution company. So I can't wait to reveal these to you. The first one that I'm going to reveal to you is Too Lost. All right. Now, some of you might not have heard about Too Lost yet, and I get it. To be quite frank, it wasn't until a couple of months ago that I, in fact, heard of Too Lost myself. All right. Too Lost, they've been here for a little while, but they obviously haven't been here as long as the DistroKids, the TuneCores, the CD Babies, and the United Masters, and all of those different things. And they haven't really been marketing as big as those companies, but I assure you, when you take a look at what Two Loss actually offers, it's actually a really, really great music distribution company. All right. So let's get down to the nitty gritty of what Two Loss actually offers. So first and foremost, like I always say, I always like to check the price before anything else. Well, if you go to the Two Loss site and you check out their plans, all right, they are actually only $19.99 a year or $2.99 a month. So you're looking at basically only paying $20 a year versus DistroKid, like we mentioned before, is now $40. So DistroKid is double Two Loss when it comes to pricing, right? So Two Loss beats DistroKid when it comes to price wise, hands down. You're saving half of it. But like I told you about DistroKid before, it's all reliable. DistroKid still has the most perks. That doesn't change anything regardless of what I show you moving forward, all right? DistroKid has the best perks, and I stand by that. DistroKid has the best perks, hands down, all right? So when it comes to Two Loss, as you can see, the pricing is much, much better than DistroKid, all right? Of course, you have unlimited releases just like DistroKid and things like that. Now, what is Two Loss when it comes to their royalties? Well, with royalties, you also keep 100% of your royalties with Two Loss, the same as you would keep with DistroKid. So this is identical to DistroKid. This is across the board the same exact thing, which is absolutely great as well. So it's cheaper to have Two Loss, and you get the same amount of streaming royalties back. So Two Loss is actually a really, really good company. And now the YouTube Content ID part of Two Loss is what is really shocking to me, all right? For a long time, I believe that when it came to YouTube Content ID, it was always going to be at least an 80-20 split. It was always going to be you keep 80% and the distributor keeps 20%. I never thought that I would ever see a distribution company that will actually give you 100% of your YouTube Content ID royalties. Well, guess what? Two Loss is the first one that I have found that will actually give you 100% of your YouTube Content ID royalties. This, in fact, is very, very shocking to me because, again, I didn't think that this was even possible that somebody could get 100% of their YouTube Content ID royalties. Now, of course, it does leave room for concern for me. Not going to lie to you guys. The reason I say that is because it's not as old as the other distribution companies. It's not as prominent. I don't know enough people that have it. I don't know enough success stories, and I haven't heard really anything bad about Two Loss as well. And that's what scares me because it's fairly new, because it's newer than the other ones, because it hasn't built up the credentials or anything like that, or the history, so to speak. It's very, very difficult for me to bank completely on Two Loss and say that Two Loss is the best. But what I can tell you is that if we're just looking at these three things right here, the YouTube Content ID paying out 100, which is still crazy, keep 100% of your royalties, and also only have to pay $20, and you still keep all of those things as far as scheduling your own release dates and things like that. Two Loss is definitely one of the top music distribution companies when you're just looking at what it offers on paper. And Two Loss does have a lot of perks as well. Don't get it twisted. Two Loss does have a lot of perks. It's not just, oh, you can just release. They have a lot of perks as well. They just can't beat out DistroKid with DistroKid's perks. DistroKid just going to have that hands down. But Two Loss does have a lot of perks that they can actually celebrate as well. There's a lot of things when looking into Two Loss that I saw. I was like, wow, Two Loss really offers a lot of different things for independent artists. So if you're looking to make your decisions based off of the perks as well, definitely look into Two Loss because it's a big deal. It has a lot of great perks as well, just not as many as DistroKid. So that's Two Loss, all right? Now, when it comes to the third music distribution to make my list, this one is probably going to surprise you just as much as Two Loss, but that company is actually Symphonic, all right? Now, hold on. I know some of you guys are probably thinking, Symphonic, ain't that the music video distribution service? Yes, Symphonic has been the primary place for you to actually distribute your music distribution or your music videos for a long time now, all right? Anytime you had a music video and you wanted to get it on Vivo, on Apple Music Videos, just get it everywhere music videos are, that Symphonic was the place to do that, right? But Symphonics actually offers a music distribution service as well. And they have actually changed a lot of things in regards to their music distribution service, which really puts them on the top tiers when it comes to music distribution companies moving forward. All right. So, first and foremost, of course, we're going to go over pricing. All right. As you can see directly from the site of Symphonic, in order to have Symphonic per year, all right, it's only $19.99. All right. This $19.99 plan, the reason I'm focusing on this one is because it's the one that compares the most to DistroKid's Musicians Plus plan. It lets you schedule out your own releases. It lets you do your customized iTunes prices. It lets you do all of that stuff the same way DistroKid allows you to do that stuff when it comes to customizing your releases. And it's only $19.99. All right. Now, Symphonic doesn't offer you a monthly payment. Of course, TuneCore does. I'm sorry, not TuneCore, but TuneLost does at the $2.99, and DistroKid does at the $3.33. But with Symphonic, you can only be charged annually. So if you have an issue with the annual pay and you want to pay it month to month, then Symphonic will not be the ideal choice for you. They only bill annually. But I will tell you this: for anyone who is considering doing it month to month, you must understand that doing it month to month means that you're actually going to be paying more. Because if you take $2.99 and you times it by 12, that's more than $19.99. And if you take $3.33 and you times that by 12 with DistroKid, that's going to be more than the $39.99. So if you want to do that route, you can do that route, but you'll be paying more in the end. I always think of the subscriptions as an investment. You're starting your own music business. You're an artist. The first thing that you need to invest in is your music distribution service, or else your music's just not going to be on Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music and all of those different places. So one annual fee of $20 or even $40 for that matter is not that much when you're considering how important and how vital it is for independent artists. All right. But yes, when it comes to Symphonic, they're only $19.99 when it comes to their actual price point. All right. Now, when it comes to the royalties with Symphonic, you can actually keep 100% of your royalties as well with Symphonic. So across the board, all three of these music distribution companies let you keep 100% of your royalties. All right. So this is obviously a great thing as well. I already explained earlier how important having your royalties are. That's how much you make off of your music when it's being streamed and all of those different things. Being able to keep 100% of this is absolutely important, because the more money comes in, the more money you can actually reinvest back into your music career so that you could grow your music career. All right. And lastly, when it comes to Symphonic's YouTube Content ID, Symphonic's YouTube Content ID is actually not as good as TuneLost, but it is better than DistroKid. And what I mean by that is, with Symphonic, there's no extra cost to actually have the YouTube Content ID, but you will only be able to keep 70% of your YouTube Content ID revenue, which means they keep 30% instead of 20% that DistroKid keeps. All right. Now, of course, like I told you, TuneLost, you keep all of it. But for Symphonic, they actually keep 30%. And I will tell you this: Symphonic has a higher percentage than a lot of the other music distribution companies out here. For most of the time when I see YouTube Content ID, I always see an 80-20 split. I always see that. I mean, the ones that I don't recommend, TuneCore is 80-20, United Masters is 80-20, CD Baby is 80-20. You know, they're all 80-20 for the most part, which is why I always thought that it had to be 80-20, right? Or at least 80-20. But for CD Baby, it's actually 70-30, which means they will be able to keep 30% while you keep 70%. So if your deciding factor is for YouTube Content ID, then maybe Symphonic won't be the best fit for you. But when it comes to Symphonic overall, in comparison to the other two, it really can compare to them. It really can compete with them. Now, I will tell you this: Symphonic has a lot of perks as well. And there is actually one or two perks that I saw from their database or from their music distribution service that I actually saw DistroKid didn't have. But all in all, I still think DistroKid has the best perks. But hey, Symphonic has a lot of amazing perks as well. A lot of incredible perks. All right. So they deserve to be on this list as one of the top 3 recommended music distribution services moving forward for 2024. All right. So these are the top 3 music distribution services for 2024. All right. Now, when it comes to TwoLoss, if you want more information on TwoLoss, I did a separate video just about TwoLoss, and I actually went over all the perks that they have. Literally, I went down step by step every last perk that they have. If you want to check out that video, you could click on the link above. All right. And in that video, I show you all the perks that TwoLoss has. All right. Now, I also did the same exact thing for Symphonic. All right. I got into their dashboard. I got into their database, and I was able to check out all of the different perks that Symphonic also has outside of, you know, the important things, the pricing and things like that. If you want to look more into that and you want to know all the perks that Symphonic offers, you can click on the link above. And that video is specifically dedicated to Symphonic and everything it offers as a music distribution company. Also, I will leave a link to all of those videos in the descriptions below, so you can just check out the descriptions and you'll see all of those links there as well. All right. But that's pretty much it, guys. These are the top 3 music distribution services that I recommend going into 2024. All right. When it comes to price wise, we already can see firsthand that TwoLoss and Symphonic takes the cake. When it comes to the royalty payouts, they're all equal. You keep 100%, and the only one that beats out all the others when it comes to how much you get from YouTube Content ID is TwoLoss, because you keep 100% of that as well. So on paper, if we're looking at all 3 music distribution companies, TwoLoss is the best music distribution companies in comparison to these 3, but they each have their own things that set them apart from the other. Like I said, DistroKid is pricier than it, but it has everything you need. Every perk that you could possibly need, they have it, and plus more. You know, when you want to get connected to your Spotify for artists, Apple Music for artists, Tidal for artists, I mean, they literally connect you with everything. So DistroKid has the best perks. It's almost like the Mercedes of music distribution companies, meaning it's pricier than others, but it's going to last a long time because it's a Mercedes. It's just it's the best when it comes to everything that it absolutely offers, regardless of the price. All right. But when we're looking at, you know, just the price, the YouTube Content ID, and the royalty payout alone, TwoLoss obviously takes the cake in regards to these 3 things specifically. Now, I don't think that you should just make your decision solely on these 3 things, but for the sake of these videos, I like to focus on these 3 things because these are the three things that most independent artists have questions about when it comes to picking which music distribution company they want to go with. I always get questions about the prices. Which one's more expensive? I always get questions, does it have YouTube Content ID? And I always get questions about the royalty payouts, all right? So that's why I like making these videos, and I truly, truly hope that this video will help you, all right? But that's pretty much it, guys. These are the 3 most recommended music distribution companies for 2024. If you have any additional questions or concerns, please leave comments in the comment section below. Also, if you're an independent artist who's looking into leaving your 9-to-5 job so that you could do music full-time like myself, then I strongly, strongly urge you to grab my ebook here, The 13 Steps to Jumpstart Your Own Music Business, so that you can put yourself in a position to leave that 9-to-5 job so that you could do music full-time like myself. I've been doing music full-time for years now, and I just want the same thing for each and every single one of you guys as well. And finding the right music distribution company is actually one of the things we actually discuss in the ebook. All right, so definitely grab that ebook. All right, it's on my website. The link will be in the descriptions below as well. All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, happy New Year's to every last one of you guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
I feel like Moses, big Moses. Yeah. Can nobody hold me? Yeah. Nobody. Yeah. I'm feeling like Daniel, Big Daddy. Yeah. Can nobody face me? Yeah. I feel like Joseph, Big Joseph. Yeah. Can nobody